pick up. My name is Paul Ingberg Peterson. I'm the Deputy Director General of IUCN, and we are going to do three things today. Of course, you can see already up there what it's about. Perhaps at some stage we can turn off the music. Yeah. I'm amazed. We're going to do three things. We're going to celebrate that we will actually work together towards the World Parks Congress. Some of us do prefer to talk about protected areas, but that's the concept they use. And we're going to be creative, meaning finding out who will do what over the next 2 years. We've got a bit more than 2 years until it will take place. And then we're going to launch the hard work that needs to take place in the 2 years. So that's basically what we're going to do. I'm not sure how much the updated agenda has been distributed, so I've just gone through it quickly and also thereby know a couple of changes that we have to make. The first thing is that my boss, Julia, will say a few words about why she is so enthusiastic about this. I look forward to hear that. Then afterwards, we will have a response from Australia. And earlier today, we actually did get the response from New South Wales, from the Minister of Environment and Heritage, who was here, and we did have a little session. Unfortunately, due to an accident with one of her staff back in I don't know whether it was in Sydney or where it was, but she had to leave immediately and go back, and that means that we will miss her, and also miss her signature. But we are so brilliant at IUCN, so we managed to get the signature just before she left, and therefore we will have Julia's signature and Peter's signature on the same agreement, and Peter represents the federal government in Australia. So that's the next step. Then we'll have a brief video from Australia. Some of you don't know it. We'll have a look. And then we start the creative part, where we are going to find out what do we want to use this for. And the first, we are at that stage, we will ask Peter Cochran from Parks Australia to give us a view of where we think we can use it for the Congress. We'll have Claudio Diaz, Executive Secretary of CBD, very happy to have you here, give us a keynote address of what the world needs from protected areas to meet the targets and the strategic plan for biodiversity. Very relevant because the Congress will be 2014, halfway towards the 2020 goal or target of the strategic plan. And then we have also said, well, the key is whether we are using the parks correctly seen in terms of contribution to global challenges. And therefore we've also asked Erik Solheim, a good friend from Norway, who was the Development and Environment Minister, to address the issue of what the world needs from protected areas to address global challenges. By having it both from the CBD perspective and from the sustainable development perspective, we hope that we'll get good challenges that can then tell us what we can use the Parks Congress for. And after that, we will have a panel with some of these people and a couple of others I'll introduce at that stage, who will then address the same issue. And at the end, all of you are going to say which part you want to do over the next 2 years until November 2014. So with that, and if everybody agrees on the running order, it's my great pleasure to ask Julia to come and say what she expects out of this. Thank you. Give her a hand. You haven't seen her before.
This is the first time that I've had a chance to not jump over non-existent stairs, so I'm very good. So thank you very much, Paul. I can tell you that I'm excited for many reasons, and I love Sydney. So people said they would take me to the opera, so that's good. But so I have a very formal greeting, but can I just say, dear friend, if you don't mind, but dear Braulio, dear Maxwell, dear Peter, and everybody, and Bill Jackson, where are you? There you are. It's so great to see you so relaxed at a World Conservation Congress. So thank you all for being here. This is very, very, very important for IUCN. So I'm really very glad to be here at the launch of the 2014 World Parks Congress. I am really sorry that I can't stay because the program that you described sounds like would be great fun to stay. So as you know, the Congress is a 10-yearly event which has set the agenda for protected areas worldwide since the first Congress in 1962, but I don't know where that was. Was it?
Yeah.
In Seattle. Very good, thank you. Was anybody at that first Congress? Who was at the second World Parks Congress here? Oh my gosh, everybody's so young. But who was in Durban? There. They're really young now. Okay, so but Paul, I noticed that you didn't raise your hand, neither did I. So this will be the first for us. So at the Congress in Durban in 2003, the Durban Action Plan laid the foundation for the Convention on Biological Diversity program program of work for protected areas. And as you know, Braulio, we feel very closely to our convention because it was at a World Conservation Congress in 1981 in Christchurch that some people thought, let's have a convention on biological diversity. So we're really related, which I think is very good. So of course today, many of us were in Nagoya, and we have the far-reaching target, not far enough in my view, but agreed in Nagoya that by 2020 we would have 17% of protected areas on land and 10% in the marine realm. I think if we can manage to go even beyond that, that would be great, but we certainly must get to those. So we only have 8 years to go, and we have to have a successful protected area system on land and on the sea. And of course, I'm sure you'll be talking about something which is very close to our hearts at IUCN, and that is that we don't just want to have a list, but we want to have really well-managed, well-enforced protected areas. And we really want people to understand why this is important. So we really have to urgently address the gaps in knowledge and capacity and put the protected area systems and institutions to work to address some of the most profound challenges faced by humanity. I have to say to you, I don't know if I've ever told you this, Trevor, but when I am trying to explain IUCN to people outside of our community, and I have to do that a lot because I'm always looking for money, like all of you are, and looking for new partners. And I personally find, please Jane, don't take this badly, because of course I talk about species, but I think people outside of our communities actually understand the tool of setting aside a part of the planet and looking after it in a special way. So it's a really good communication. Sorry, I have such a terrible voice. So it's a really good way of communicating our messages. The next thing I talk about, of course, are species, and then I pull out the redness, because I think this is very important. And then the first of all, I love the hand. I think that really gives a great idea. I love the fact that you're already using the term solutions when we're talking about the World Parks Congress. So really, we've got to move beyond targets and demonstrate to the world how exactly protected areas can help address the issues of the global challenges and make this happen on the ground everywhere in the world. One of the things that I've been hearing here day in, since we've been here, it feels like several months, but it's only been 4 days, but people say we all agree on the what we have to do, why we have to do it, when we have to do it, which is really yesterday, but we have to now demonstrate how. And I think the World Parks Congress is a really important tool to do that. So I really also I want to tell you that I'm excited, actually. And I think the first time I started to get excited was when Bill taught me about healthy parks, healthy people. And it's not just to be nice to you, but I use that, as Xenia knows, in a lot of my speeches. And that people also get it too. So we have a great line in one of my speeches about how this idea could win a Nobel Prize, but it's not a research project, it's only a part. So anyway, so let me first of all turn to become a little bit more formal again and express IUCN's really sincere and warm gratitude to the Australian and New South Wales government, and in particular by Australia, thank you Peter, and New South Wales National Parks and Wildlife, and for their generous invitation to host the 6th IUCN World Parks Congress in Sydney. As Paul said, I had the pleasure of meeting the Minister from New South Wales. I understood very well why she had to leave, but we did sign the agreement, and so we're now full speed ahead. And I also want to thank the partners who will help us deliver the landmark results that we've got to get in Sydney. Of course, the Secretariat to the Convention on Biological Diversity, UNEP, WMC, World Conservation Monitoring Center, I don't like acronyms, which is also very closely related to IUCN. I think there are really only 2 degrees of separation between all of us. And of course, the World Protected Areas Leadership Forum, I'm really glad to see Anna Latourelle here, and then all the members of IUCN here today. And of course, the members of the World Commission on Protected Areas. I don't see Nick, but maybe I'm not, but I see Kate, and that's great. So thank you all, really, that we're going to make this happen, and it will be a great success. It will be exciting. We've got to make sure that we get people there who don't yet know why this is important, but when they leave, they've got to be committed to know what we have to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julia. The New South Wales Minister for Environment and Heritage, Robin Park, has asked me to present her apologies. Some hours ago, she received word that a park ranger in her service was badly injured in fighting fires, and she felt her place was back in Sydney. The fire season on the east coast of New South Wales has started early this year, and her service is fighting a wide range of fires up and down the eastern coast. This is a reality faced, of course, by park managers and park staff. The Australian and New South Wales governments are working closely on conservation and sustainability issues, and we are committed to delivering an outstanding and pivotal World Parks Congress in Sydney. And we will also work to achieve the vision set out in the National Park CEO's declaration made 2 days ago here in Jeju. Sydney, with its magnificent and inspiring natural and cultural attractions, is a fitting and unique location for the Parks Congress, with its spectacular beaches, beautiful Sydney Harbour National Park, and it's ringed also by national parks, including Australia's first national park declared in 1879. It's also the gateway to a deep and vibrant Indigenous culture and to remarkable landscapes and experiences across our vast and diverse continent. New South Wales hosts 6 of Australia's 19 World Heritage Sites, including rainforests that first appeared in Gondwana land, the Willandra Lake system of ancient lakes linked with a rich Aboriginal history, and the convict-built sites that reflect our more recent past. The venue for the Congress is Sydney Olympic Park, about 14 kilometres from the central business district and near the geographic centre of Sydney. Sydney Olympic Park is a world-class urban development. It's a venue that speaks in many ways to the themes and ambitions of this conference, as well as the Parks Congress. The vision for a Green Games for the 2000 Olympics was the catalyst for the creation of Sydney Olympic Park, and it involved the transformation of a degraded industrial landscape into an environmental showpiece. And today it's one of the largest urban parklands in Australia. It successfully conserves remnant vegetation, wetlands, forest, native plants and animals, including endangered species, alongside environmentally and socially sustainable facilities and venues. It's a legacy with a long-term strategy to guide best practice in ecological management, energy and water conservation, green building design, and a healthy lifestyle. And we believe it's an appropriate place to host the Olympics. The Olympics of the park. And we have something to sign, I think.
Yes. Just to be transparent, it doesn't have to be translated, but I can grab the microphone. What was signed earlier today was only by the Minister, and we need 3 parties to do this Parks Congress, and that is New South Wales and Parks Australia, the national government, and then IUCN. So now the 2 additional signatures will come on.
signatures to go to Sydney.
So we have a video to show you, to invite you to Sydney, and hopefully to encourage you to join us in 2014.
And we have to shake hands.
And we have
Thank you.
Next, we have a video. Thank you very much for a wonderful video. Now you can see that we're going to be very busy during the Parks Congress. We have to visit all these parks. The next step is that Peter will, now the celebrations are over, now we want to be creative. Now we want to find out what can we actually use this Congress for. So you will start coming with some ideas, and then Braulio and Eric will give your perspectives afterwards. Peter.
One of the messages we also wanted to convey in that video is this is actually a collaboration across Australia. All the park agencies in Australia, and there are 8 of them, are working very closely together to ensure this is a very successful event. And I should also include our good colleagues in New Zealand are also working closely with us. So part of that message there was this is about the whole continent. So in terms of future directions and the possible structure and architecture of the Congress, my New South Wales colleague and I and many others have been actively listening in many fora over the last few days and for quite some time before that, but in particular here at WCPA members meetings, at the steering committee meeting, talking to other commission members and also members of the wider IUCN family. And we've received many, many excellent ideas. Now, we have distilled these into what we think will work for the Congress. And it begins with the IUCN work program, with the 3 core elements of it. And we see then this following architecture with 8 broad themes that reflect those. So, under valuing and conserving nature, we see 2 important areas of focus: inspiring a new generation, achieving conservation results. Under the effective and equitable governance theme of the IUCN work program, we'd like to broaden the engagement and participation into wider society,